Hello, this is Tarum, and in this video I will be going over the basics of the Burglar class in PvMP, such as gear, jewelry, legendary items, movement, virtues, and traits. Without further ado, let's begin. The build I have here is fairly simple. It contains 4 pieces of the level 100 Burglar PvMP armor: the helm, jacket, gloves, and boots of the Unseen. The 10% run speed is very nice for open field fights and 1v1s. I chose these 4 select pieces because comparing them to the other pieces, such as the shoulders and leggings of the other sets and the Unseen set, the output was much greater in stats. I also run 2 essence pieces with 2 tactical and 2 physical mitigations slotted in each. This helps. Capped mitts is always nice, and there's the optional satchel. Now this can vary. You can switch out whichever cloak you like. It's completely up to you. The jewelry that I wear 99.99% of the time never really changes. It usually always stays the same when I'm open field and 1v1ing. Is the first exquisite Burglar's earring of Helm Hammerhand and its equal counterpart level 100 necklace for the 10% positional damage buff. I also wear the second exquisite Burglar's bracelet of Helm Hammerhand and its equal to level 100 counterparts for the 10% critical chance and 50% critical magnitude buff. I also wear 3 crafted jewels. These are usually for offensive stats along with moral. It is usually always good to have quite a good chunk of moral when you're open field and 1v1ing, just because of the way creeps hit now and the short-term fights that usually occur. On your screen you will see my main legendary items. On the top left-hand corner you will see my 2 most used ones, with 25% feint attack damage, 10% subtle stab damage multiplier, 10% critical response skill damage, critical chain skills critical multiplier up, 2 stat legacies, 22% subtle stab critical multiplier. With the relics on my legendary items, it really depends on how you play and your play style, so customize those any way you want to, as long as it helps you out there in open field and 1v1s. With my bag, I have 15% skills critical multiplier, 15% positional damage, 15% critical chain skills critical, 15-second trickster rotation, 2 stat legacies, and 50% add-on induction multiplier. With the trickster rotation, it really was because I had an extra crystal remembrance and I wanted to test something out, and it really worked. The trickster rotation really helps in open field fights, I can definitely say that. Again, with the relics, customize it on your playstyle. And on the other side of the screen, you will see my swap legendary items. If you decide to go with swaps, I would recommend making a swap for trick and riddle range. Just the relics on that legendary item don't really matter. As long as you have the 2 legacies, it's perfectly fine. A moral swap with pretty much the same stats as your main bag, but with sneak, movement, speed, and stealth level, with of course all morale relics, and a bleed damage and coup de grace damage. That is always good to have extra damage on a legendary item swap. It helps so much. I would probably lose some fights without it. I also put 25% position surprise strike from stealth on it because the Burglar class is really dull right now, so I wanted to spice things up a little bit. While there are very many different types of movement in this game, it's best to choose the one that best fits you. For example, there is the key turning while mouse turning. You'd use your WSAT keys and you would mouse turn like this, and the next movement would be full mouse turning, like so, where you would move with nothing but your mouse and hit skills. I used to do that. And then there is strafing while mouse turning, and that is pressing your DA keys while using your mouse to make slightly sharper turns than key mouse turning. Then there is mouse turning where you make even sharper turns with your QE keys while turning. I do that the most, I think. I find that the most useful for my kind of play style. But it's best that you choose the movement that best fits you. You can customize and mix up different movements as you find your rotation and keybinds to the right place. As many of you may know, virtues tend to be significantly important in a build for any situation, really. My virtues are quite low due to the fact that my essence gear makes up for everything that I pretty much lose. I only trade mid essences and I have cap bets anyways, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, the extra finesse and all that stuff is pretty good, I guess. I go determination, honor, fidelity, tolerance, and zeal. I find that the 336 maximum morale from zeal is very good, as well as the mitigations, and the agility from fidelity and determination. It's also good, and I love the finesse from honor. So I find that to be key in a PvP build, but that, once again, it's customizable due to the player. Okay, so the first trait build that I'm going to discuss is my personal open field build. I use this whenever I'm roaming around solo, or in a raid for that matter. I tend to like this build. I only have 65 trait points, so that is a cripple somewhat, but let's go ahead and get right into it. So I have 5 agile hands for the skills critical multiplier. That is crucial for a Burg. And also I have 5 death strikes for the 5% melee critical chance. That is very important to a Burglar. We rely heavily on crits, as you may know if you're watching this. I went with 5 Dance of Blades for the 10% critical response skill damage. I traded 1 aim. I use it on different skills, really depends on what situation I'm in. I traded 1 vital point because in my personal opinion that's all you need. It'll proc anyway, so it doesn't matter. I traded 5 backstab because 25 positional damage is very nice. I traded flashing blades because flashing blades is one of the most important skills a Burglar has for DPS. I traded 3 well practice for the aim cooldown and the 60-second fine for aim cooldown. I also traded improve hide in plain sight for the removal of poison, disease, fear, and wound effects on hips. I traded sneak attack for the 100% damage from stealth, and coup de grace for the giant skill. I also traded stick and move so I could unlock Gambler's Advantage, which is very nice. The 5% evade chance is also very nice, don't get me wrong. I traded 1 dust so I could dust multiple targets, and with that I traded its counterpart, 2 Sterling Twist, so I could stun multiple targets at a time. I traded 3 Heartening Prank because once again I am lacking severely in trait points, so I could not max that out. I plan to fix that sooner or later. And 3 Thick Skin for bit mitigations to cap me out. Once again, this is customizable for every player. This is just my main build, a basic generic build for open field. Moving on to my 1v1 build, I trade 5 agile hands for the 5% skills critical multiplier. I also trade 5 death strikes for the 5% melee critical chance. I trade 5 Dance of Blades for the 10% critical response skill damage. 1 aim that I only use for certain skills such as improved feint attack, which as you can see here, it does in fact give a 10% positional damage and 20% skills critical multiplier for a duration of 15 seconds when crit or dev on the attack. I traded 1 vital points because once again that's really all you need. I traded 5 backstab because the 25% positional damage is key. I traded 1 flashing blade because again the flashing blades is one of the Burglar's most important skills for DPS. I traded stick and move for the 5% evade chance, honed wit for the 25% Burglar bleed damage, and Gambler's Advantage for another skill besides double edge strike that is a little bit faster. I also traded 5 heartening prank and 5 thick skin because now that I don't have dust, I can use some of the trade points to invest in other things such as morale and mitigations. Thank you for watching, and I sincerely and truly hope this helps with the fights and 1v1s you will have on your Burglar. Cheers.